Daddy Squared. Gay Dad Saved the World.
A daily dose of gay dads on the front lines of the global pandemic.
With Alex McGann and Jan Dick.
Hello, I'm Alex.
I'm Jan.
And we're Daddy Squared.
We are.
Welcome to this...
Day 4.
Podcast extra between Season 3 and Season 4.
What is this podcast extra, Alex? Please explain to us.
Well, every day we're calling one gay dad who is an essential worker. We're going to hear how their lives have been changed by the pandemic and how they're going through this and what they do to help during this incredibly difficult time.
Today and tomorrow we have a couple, which is something that it's really interesting. What's happening in the house where both parents are essential workers. So today we have David Rosales. He's from New York City. He runs the COVID Command Center for Visiting Nurse Services.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome when you think of just what the description is.
Yes.
But wait till you hear him.
Yeah, wait. Before we call him, I just want to share something that I was pretty much ashamed of until I decided pretty much 5 minutes ago that I'm going to share with everybody, just to let it out there. Are you ready?
I don't know.
So we're giving our kids much more iPad time. Much more iPad time, and I think that I'm guilty because something in that. In giving them the iPad time and just leave us alone for a few hours, and yes, hours. It's because we're over the top overwhelmed with being with them 24/7.
Well, we have twin 4-year-old kids, and
no, I'm not trying to justify that.
I was going to try to justify it.
No, don't, because I feel that I have to apologize for this, and I'm sorry, guys, but I'm losing my mind.
Why are you apologizing to them?
I'm sorry not sorry. Okay. We give them iPad time.
You can apologize to our kids of the future if you want to.
Yes.
I have to tell you something.
I'll prepare an apology.
I am worried about too much screen time to some extent, but I have to tell you something. I've been kind of amazed by what our kids do with their iPads, even without our guidance and direction. It would be one thing if it was just agonizing crap, but they do some things that I find really exciting and interesting. And
yesterday I spent half an hour on teaching Ben how to build a playlist on Spotify.
Right. Well, I don't think that's such a bad thing. I mean, I agree that it's something that we have to sort of keep some level of control over, but desperate times call for desperate measures, and these are desperate measures. As is the cake that I ate this morning.
Thank God you're doing cardio. As if it helps.
Well, you do 20 minutes of cardio, and that's about 2 bites of cake. So I think I'm doing fine.
So let's go to the interview with David. If you guys have any comments or you would like to share with us, please write to us at hello@daddysqr.com.
How are you guys?
Oh,
we're good.
We're doing our thing. Thank you so much for doing this with us. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Happy to.
So what we would like to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about the work you do and how it's changed during this, crazy pandemic.
Yeah. So I'm in healthcare, but I'm not a clinician. I work in strategy. I'm the chief strategy officer for a home healthcare organization here in New York called the Visiting Nurse Service of New York. And we're the largest nonprofit home and community-based care organization in the country. And we serve New York City, and we do what it sounds like, which we send nurses and therapists and home health aides into people's homes and provide care in homes for 44,000 people a day. And I think, I'm usually the guy who's thinking about the future and thinking about growth, and that's kind of the strategy guy's job. But I think with the COVID crisis, I have I'm helping to run our command center and during the emergency, and I've been focused on a lot of things. One of which has been given how hard we've been hit here in New York City and how quickly the virus spread in New York City, there's been a real shortage of protective equipment for our staff, which is, has been in the news everywhere. And
Sure.
It's something that hospitals are facing, but it's something that all healthcare organizations are facing. So I've been spending a lot of my time kind of in emergency mode, working with state and city government and private sources to get our staff the what's called PPE, the personal protective equipment they need to be safe. So it's thrown my work life into chaos, but it's been exciting too, because we've had some major breakthroughs. We were able to get an emergency shipment of the specific type of PPE that we need to care for COVID positive patients in their homes, which we weren't able to do for the first couple weeks of the crisis because we didn't have what we needed. And what that allowed us to do was really kind of rally our workforce, protect them. And now we're playing we're on the front lines of the crisis. We're helping these hospitals that are overwhelmed discharge patients home earlier, and so that we can then care for them at home, and that frees up precious hospital beds and ventilators. So so my life went from kind of PowerPoint charts to emergency calls with city and state officials to negotiate the number of face shields that we could get to our staff.
Have you actually been in contact with private corporations too, trying to sort of convince them to do things?
Yeah, both. So a lot of my time has been spent working with the government channels, but we've also have a whole team focused on all the private channels. And so following every lead that we get, there's a lot of there's organizations donating PPE. There's new supplies coming from China. So we have a whole team that's focused on following up on every lead, and in that way as well. So kind of both. Yeah.
Do you do everything from home?
Our situation at home, we're lucky in many ways. So my husband and I are both kind of essential healthcare workers. He's a physician at a local hospital, and actually our best friend is also a physician in an emergency room. And so kind of the three of us needed to continue working. So our nanny, who normally takes care of some variety of the three of them. So we have 3-year-old twins, and our best friend has a 1-year-old baby. And so she has continued to come like during the day, Monday to Friday. And then some friends of ours left their apartment. They left town for the quarantine. And so we've been using kind of our friend's apartment as like a work. Wow. I've been using that as like my work space.
How does
we're lucky in that, yeah.
Your nanny comes and goes every day, and I assume it's a she. I shouldn't assume that, but I'm going to assume it's a she.
It's a she. Yeah, her name is Malika, and she's been our hero this whole time. I mean, she's been holding on the fort here. She comes. She still takes the subway. She wears a mask, and
right.
The subways have been pretty empty. We had a very serious conversation with her when this all started to happen, and we obviously made it very clear to her that we would continue to pay her no matter what, and her continuing to come here was entirely optional, and it was up to her and kind of what she wanted, and she felt really strongly that she wanted to keep coming. She feels like taking care of these kids is kind of like an important thing for her to do right now. And she's kind of part of our team, so to speak.
Right. I was going to say, she's essentially an essential worker in that you're an essential worker, and you will have an infinitely more difficult time doing what you're doing, and your husband and your friend, if she's not helping with the kids. I mean, this is the kind of knock-on effect of what's happening in so much work. People like me who work for movie companies are the only ones that truly don't qualify.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, New York City has actually set up emergency childcare facilities all over the city that are specifically for children of essential workers and essential healthcare workers. So many of our, like, for example, our home health aides who are who, go into people's homes and support very frail elderly people with, getting out of bed and feeding them. They have kids of their own. And so, it's sort of unspoken, but there is this secondary set of essential workers that are really kind of enabling childcare for frontline essential workers. Yeah.
Right. You mentioned you have twins. So can you tell us briefly, is it surrogacy?
Yeah, surrogacy.
So
we had the help of a wonderful surrogate.
Did you do the one of each, or was it planned?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what we did. Yeah. That's what we did. And so they're 3 years old. And how? Yeah. A boy, 2 boys, boy and a girl. What you got?
A boy and a girl. Didi and Zeke.
Zeke is a good name.
Didi is the girl, and Zeke is the boy.
Zeke, it sounds like he should be wearing a cowboy hat all the time. I don't know if he does, but he should. And don't tell me you don't have one, because I know you do. So how are they handling the, they have their nanny, which is great. And I guess they had not started being in school, or had they when this thing started?
Were in preschool. They were in preschool. So they were, the prior to COVID, the arrangement was Malika took care of the third child, the baby, during the day, and then she would pick up our kids from school at 3, and she'd have all 3 kids from 3 to 6:30.
Got it.
So anyway, so now she has all 3 kids all day.
Right. What's she do with them?
If you saw our apartment right now, you would. It basically is every inch is covered. Every inch of wall space is covered in these huge art projects that they have been doing, or our house has become a art project museum. She does that. She she takes them to the roof of our building. She keeps them occupied. She cooks with them, and when we're at home with them on the weekends, God knows they watch tons of TV. But she doesn't do much of that, actually. So. That's why I'm saying she is our hero, because I don't think I could do what she's doing right now. Yeah,
understood.
But they're doing okay. They're they obviously are, kids pick up on everything, right? And they know that this isn't business as usual.
Right.
But they're and so they show their own little signs of distress in their own ways, and we try to adapt and give them more TLC, and I think we've just tried to be really honest with them about what's going on. I mean, Eli, my husband, he early on got sick and was positive. He was tested positive, and so he had to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. He fortunately had a very mild case. He was just it was like as if they had the flu, and so it was just me for a couple of weekends, and then Malika was coming. We go by Dad and Daddy. And so Dad was gone for 2 weeks because he was sick and because of the germs. And, we just sort of told him the truth, and they were like, okay, so he'll come back when he's better. And and he did. So
tell us 3 things. We have to wrap up. So tell us 3 positive things that came out during this time for you.
I think in crisis, you see the best people and worst of people. And I think I've seen more of the best in people. So at work and at home, I think that's one thing. I think to see the resilience of these kids and how they just are so adaptable to what is a crazy situation has been really positive. I think that all of our new ways of connecting during this time, and the fact that I'm talking on the phone and FaceTiming more than I ever did with my friends. Hopefully that's something that's something that sticks with us after this.
And listen, no doubt, just the very statement you made about doing less PowerPoint can only be a positive. It can only be a good thing.
Exactly.
All right, here's your spin. Here's your spin question, and this is designed to shame you in the worst possible way.
Okay.
What meal have you been the most ashamed of during the last week? And we want details.
There was a meal. Oh yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I said we want details. We want to know what's in it.
Yeah. I mean, there was so when Eli was in quarantine, that weekend was a crazy weekend for me, because also at work things were exploding, and there was a meal where I just basically I opened up the freezer and I took tater tots and fish sticks and stuck them in the toaster, And when that toaster went off, I'd put those on plates and with like a big dollop of ketchup and gave it to these kids sitting there watching Paw Patrol. I think it was the low point in their culinary existence.
We're only laughing because
pride matter.
We're only laughing because that's been our Monday through Friday. But now I feel like we're going to have to make Chateaubriand for dinner tonight to make up for it.
David, thank you so much for sharing.
Much.
All right, thanks guys. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for doing this.
Thank you.
Nice.
Bye-bye.